What do you do when your exam supervisor finally says, pens down? Do you A, breathe a huge sigh of relief and dive into deep relaxation? You've earned it after all that stress. Exams are checkpoints and not learning experiences, right? No need to reflect or prep for what's ahead. It's break time. Or B, do you still take a break, but make sure to eventually reflect on how your exam performance connects to bigger goals, intentionally preparing for future tests? Do you see exams as critical learning milestones? Do you believe that there's always improvements to make and more skills to build as part of a lifelong learning journey? In my experience, as someone who coaches thousands of students around the world, most students fall into Group A. When exams end, learning stops. Why? Well, because after being trapped in an exam pressure cooker for weeks or months, all you want to do is just mentally check out. In the thick of exam stress, it can feel like you're sprinting a never-ending race with no finish line, just one high-stake test after another. So of course, it's tempting to see exams as isolated events that you just have to endure for a short period. But seeing exams as endpoints rather than stepping stones limits your potential. It leads to always starting from scratch and repeating the same exhausting study cycles. Which is why Group B has the upper hand. Their growth mindset builds momentum that compounds over time. The problem is, most students don't realize the tremendous benefits that come from viewing exams as stepping stones and not finish lines. They don't see how reflecting after their exams creates momentum that pays dividends down the road. If you're new here, my name is Tanzeer. I'm a learning coach at iCanStudy, and I help thousands of students improve their study techniques. When exams feel like isolated sprints, it's tempting to stop running once you've crossed the finish line. But adopting a lifelong growth mindset changes everything. You start to see exams as data points on a never-ending upward learning trajectory. Reflection becomes essential to analyze that data and fuel your future progress. Momentum builds as your base of knowledge and study skills compound over time. And with each new challenge, you leap faster and higher thanks to your past lessons. This flywheel effect of continuous improvement is how ordinary students transform into exceptional learners who continually expand their opportunities and potential. Few realize the immense power of seeing exams as stepping stones, but those who do open doors to places they never imagined possible. So with this in mind, what should you actually do after your exams that will best set you up for the next round? Let's split it into 3 scenarios that you might be in. Scenario 1, you might have another exam in a few hours or a few days. Scenario 2, you might have another exam in a few weeks or a few months. And scenario 3, you have no more exams. So let's talk about that first scenario. Maybe you have another exam on the same day or even in a few days. If the exam is on the same day, it's crucial for you to manage your focus and your energy. Calm your mind. You've just been through a lot of mental activity and it's time to reset. Meditation is a great way to do this. Even a few minutes of deep breathing or mindfulness can help clear your mind and reduce stress. Meditation is simple, so do this with me. Open the clock app on your phone and set a timer for 10 minutes for a start. And for these 10 minutes, I want you to focus on inhaling for 5 seconds, holding that breath for 6 seconds, and then breathing out naturally. Repeat this process for the entire 10 minutes. It's also perfectly normal for your mind to wander around. When you notice your mind wandering, refocus your attention back on your breathing. Also try some guided meditation apps like Calm, Headspace, or searching any guided meditations on YouTube. Now, here's what you should actually avoid. Don't engage in heavy physical activities or intense studying right after your first exam. These activities can drain your cognitive and physical energy reserves, which you need to save for your upcoming exam. If you have another exam in a few days, ideally your planned revision timetable includes what to do to the very last exam. We went through how to properly plan a timetable to revise your exams here, so do check it out. So with your planned timetable, there's not much to do except to follow it. During this time between your exams, whether it's a few hours or a few days until your next exam, you can engage in some basic reflection around your exam performance and how you can improve for your next few exams, even if the exams are testing different topics. This is because general exam taking skills and approaches are universal and can be applied to any topic or discipline. What if you fall into scenario 2? that you have another exam in a few weeks or a few months. When there's a larger gap between exams, it's the perfect time for some deep reflection. Reflect so you can turn your experience into gold. And the key here is post-reflective practice. This isn't just about reviewing what you've learned, but how you learned it. Are there methods you used in your recent revision process that was ineffective? Create a plan to improve it. Are there methods you used in your recent revision process that were effective? Then ensure you stick to those for next time. Also start evaluating your general approach to your exams. Ask yourself, what worked well? What didn't? How can I improve? Did you manage your time effectively? Were there topics you felt unprepared for? How was your in-exam strategy? If you struggle to create effective reflective questions for yourself, use this list as a guide. What aspects went well? What didn't go as well? Why didn't they go as well? How do I tend to act in these situations? And what can I do to improve for next time? You can download a PDF template below to use this reflection template. When you answer these questions to guide your reflection, it's going to be very important for you to answer these questions as in-depth as possible. This will be important since you don't want to be making conclusions that are really far from reality. So for example, let's say that you did your maths exam and you scored 70%. Using these 5 questions, this is an example as to how you may reflect. Question 1. What aspects went well? Well, when it came to my revision, I was consistent with doing my practice papers and my note-taking, and I got it all done 3 days before the exam. Question 2. What aspects didn't go as well? Now that I reflect, I should have spent more time doing challenging questions. I noticed that during my revision, I only did a lot of practice papers, and eventually I didn't find as many gaps as I did early in my revision, and therefore my gap-seeking process wasn't very robust. Question 3. Why didn't they go as well? I feel that my gap-seeking process didn't go well because when I found gaps and felt revision was becoming difficult, I tended to back down from the discomfort and the fear associated with getting things wrong. Question 4. How do I tend to act in these situations? Well, when any part of learning and the revision process becomes a bit too difficult, I tend to back out and work on things that are easier. It seems how I measured whether I was productive during my revision was relying on the quantity of questions done instead of the number of knowledge gaps that I found. Question 5. What can I do to improve next time? What I can do is to be more aware of when I start experiencing difficulty. For my chemistry exam, which is in 3 weeks, I'll focus my revision on finding a lot more gaps by attempting difficult questions rather than breezing through easy questions. Having a systemized list to reflect on can benefit you. This is because it reduces the friction to getting started on your reflection. When you're intentional about revising, one interesting transformation takes place. You start developing a growth mindset. In the words of Stanford professor Carol Dweck, in a growth mindset, people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Many of the most highly successful people in the world have attributed their success to not giving up and continuing through failure. This is the power of a growth mindset. Think about Navy SEALs and athletes like Virat Kohli and Serena Williams. And here's the extra important thing. Reflect even if you did well. Even if you scored 100%. Why? Because there's always room for improvement. Even if you scored 100%, could you have scored that in less time? Is there a way to translate this success to other parts of your life? It's also important to know what's working well so you can double down on that. This mindset isn't just about fixing mistakes. It's about optimizing your performance for future success. So you want to use the break not just to relax, but to build a stronger and smarter approach to your studies. Reflect on your methods, identify areas for improvement, and plan for an even more successful next exam. And if you're unsure what to work on and how to start, you definitely want to check out our in-depth video series on how to turbocharge your studying efficiency here. But what if you're the lucky few in scenario 3 with no more exams? Then this is a perfect time for a mindset shift. Ask yourself this. If you had a near perfect studying system for all the exams you ever took, what would be the difference to your results and your life now? How many doors in life would open if you knew how to study more effectively and get better grades? If the answer in your mind now is something like, I just wish I knew how to study properly earlier, I would have so many more options, then ask yourself this next question. What does it cost you to not know how to learn? Your dream school, your dream course, your dream job, achieving your goals in life? But there's a silver lining here. Your learning journey isn't over. And in fact, it's only getting started. Whether you're moving from high school to university, or from university to the workplace, your learning needs and the demands you'll face are about to change. In fact, the further you progress in life, your learning needs become more demanding, and therefore, the more important and valuable effective learning becomes. If you're going into a higher education institution, you're going to face more difficult content, and the grades you get in uni will affect your life more than the grades you get in high school. If you're going into the working world, you need to learn how to upskill yourself continuously. The inability to keep up with new skills and knowledge will set you back in your career. Remember, what's the cost if you do not learn how to learn properly? Try to attach monetary value to it, not getting into your dream school, course, or job. Then you'll understand the size of the impact. So celebrate your achievements, but stay curious and eager to learn. The end of exams is just the beginning of a whole new adventure in your learning journey. To wrap this up, let's cover everything that we've gone through today. Scenario 1, if you have another exam very soon, focus on calming yourself through meditation and avoid draining activities. Follow your planned revision timetable. Scenario 2, if you have weeks between your exams or even a few months, reflect on what revision techniques worked and what didn't work. Identify areas for improvement and plan better strategies for next time. You can watch our video series on studying efficiently here. Scenario 3, if you have no more exams for now, adopt a growth mindset. Consider the benefits you could gain by improving your study skills, as there are always new learning challenges ahead. Now, I want to hear it from you. What was your biggest takeaway? Leave a comment below sharing one reflection strategy that you're excited to try after your next exam. I personally love using this guided reflection question list, but let me know what resonated most with you today. And if you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to the iCanStudy channel. We release new videos with science-backed study tips to help you learn how to learn. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. See you next time.